And when I dropped her off at college, it was the exact same, except college was worse. With college, I cried for almost a week every day. That's just me. What in the world is supposed to happen with me when I'm not a day-to-day mom?
Yeah.
That same effort we've been putting into kids for 18 and 20 years, I think, we owe it to ourselves to put that same effort into ourselves.
Have you been wondering how you're going to transition into this whole empty nest situation? We know it can be such a mix of emotions, sadness, loneliness, and also some excitement and just the sense of adventure. Well, today on Healthy Her After 40, we are going to be giving some tips on how you can transition successfully, happily, and thrive as you move into this empty nest season of life. I'm Dr. Tiffany.
And I'm Dr. Adriena.
And today we have a special guest, my girl.
Hello.
Dr. Kim. And I'm going to tell y'all, we asked her to join us today as our special guest because I remember when she was transitioning into this empty nest, we were walking partners.
That's right.
Every morning. And as she was getting close to her oldest child, her sweet daughter, transitioning to college, and we were talking through this, and she was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was like, girl, what you mean? You're gonna be traveling, you and your husband going this. She was like, I don't know. I'm not so sure. And now it's a whole different situation. I can't even keep up with that lady. I mean it. I can't keep up with her. So Kim is going to tell us how to do this thing and love it. And the real parts of it too. So with that, I just got to ask, because we've talked through these things, but I don't know if we talked specifically about this. Were you at all concerned about the transition? I know we talked about the change it was going to bring and what you were going to do with your time, all this new time that Adriena and I know nothing about. Nothing right now. Okay.
Y'all will have that extra time to fill up.
Yeah. We know nothing of this extra time. But were you concerned about the transition to an empty nest?
I was, and you all can relate to this. It's so funny how you live your entire life as this functioning person without kids and you're fine. And then one day you bring this baby home and it's like, oh, I am now responsible for feeding, clothing, sheltering, like my whole life just overnight, just kind of makes this huge transition. And then, for the next 20 years of your life, that's what your life revolves around. I'm a physician, but I was a mom first, I think like most moms are. And I just felt like my whole being was consumed by making sure the kids were okay every day. Do they have clothes? Have I gotten dinner? Does somebody have homework? And all of a sudden, as I was getting to the end of this process, it was like, what in the world is supposed to happen with me when I'm not a day-to-day mom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been there before, but it's like I can't even remember it.
Yeah.
Now you were struggling with it. Were your children having any hesitation about the transition?
I think that's, I think that's probably different for every child. I can say both of my kids were so excited about going to college. And their enthusiasm took them right out. They both transitioned without a problem.
Yes.
I think they were more worried about me and my husband.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did you start to prepare, Kim, for the transition? Like, how did you do it and when did you start? or did you prepare at all? You kind of said,
no, there's no preparation because well, I don't know. I'm not, senior year with your kids is so busy that it's even worse, I think, than usual between, all the graduation activities and everything. I was so focused on just getting to the end, college acceptances, getting their dorm, and that time to think about what I was going to do when they were actually gone. Still focused on them all the way up until the very
So probably didn't hit you until you did that. What I hear about, you drop them off and then you get in the car and you're like, oh, they, I mean? They're not,
it was like kindergarten all over. I told my daughter, I remember when I dropped her off for like her first day of preschool, and then I went to work and I cried so much I had to leave work and go get her.
Oh, that was me. That was me on every child, on both sides.
Exactly.
No matter which one.
Yeah, kindergarten. I pulled off from the carpool and I went to the stop sign and just cried. And when I dropped her off at college, it was the exact same, except college was worse. With college, I cried for almost a week every day. That's just me. Because it was just so much more real.
Yeah.
You're not coming home in the afternoon to tell you what happened that day. And
I know.
That's right. Now with that though, so with that, you mentioned like the day-to-day being consumed with them. And I know, like, I'm just my children's mother, like people say, oh, that's her mother. So like, how did you adjust to the identity shift from being their mother to being Kim and being your husband's wife? Like, how did you adapt to the transition of not being known that way? Well, you still are their mother, but like
it's not the same.
It's different. Yeah. So
it's not the same. I think I have, and my husband and I talked about this a little bit. It's kind of like, what are we going to do when the kids are gone? Like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do with each other? We're not used to being in this house by ourselves.
Yeah.
And I was really worried about that. I was like, I don't know if we have anything to talk about. Our lives have been revolving around soccer for the last 10 years. But we did. I feel like when I wasn't a full-time, and I don't want to say full-time because I had been a full-time physician the entire time I've had kids. I just always felt like I was never doing either job very well. It was like I wasn't giving enough time at work and I wasn't really giving enough time at home. And you all probably understand that struggle. It's hard to be both. Yeah, when you work full-time. So what's happened is now my job is probably taking a little bit more time, which I don't mind. I feel like I'm a little bit better at my job when I'm not like, oh my God, I have to get to carpool or 5 o'clock, or we have soccer practice at 6:30. So I'm not as stressed at the end of the day. I am able to give a bit more to patients now. So my professional life is better in that sense. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, because it kind of sounds bad to say, oh, I just work more. But I don't think that's true. I just feel more effective at work because I'm no longer pulled by this need to be at home.
Right. So I guess in whatever job you do, you don't feel the need to rush out.
Exactly.
You can, do your extra, I mean, for us it's charting, but you could do that extra email or check your emails that you would have put off until the next day because you don't feel that rush to go home. I mean, I can totally identify whatever job you do.
I agree with that. Just that guilt, like I need to get out of here. My kids can't be home alone until 7 o'clock.
And then not even in just the guilt also of not even just taking them to their soccer practice, but oh my gosh, if I miss a game, or you're wanting to be there for every moment, which you want to, but the guilt of, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? What if I'm 5 minutes late to a game and then they, in your case, and that's when they scored the goal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they playing basketball and that's the shot that they got, or football, that's the touchdown that they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Missed it. So I think it is true. I tend to, want to be there every step of the way, and you do feel guilty if you're not, right?
I mean, our lives revolve around what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we get our joy from what they're doing and our,
Yeah.
so now it's time to focus on what we do.
Yes. So that helped with that identity shift and changing your focus and dedicating your time to other areas where you have been more divided.
That same effort we've been putting into kids for 18 and 20 years, I think, we owe it to ourselves to put that same effort into ourselves. So, I still try to come home and make a healthy dinner for me. I try to get home and I have more time to exercise now. I'm taking up new hobbies.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I'm still an important person. It was just kind of remembering that.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I love it.
Speaking of you, what about you and like your relationship now with your husband? Did you find that y'all started doing different things to try to regain? Because I don't want to say rekindle, because I think that's always there, but how to operate differently, just being the two of you versus having, before you may have to plan a date night around, okay, look at the schedule. Okay, on this Thursday at 7, we're going to go to date night. It's on 7 because, we got to get back home with kids. So now you're able to, so did y'all do anything or talk about it? Like how, as far as with your husband, also with other relationships? I mean, now if your girlfriend's calling to go to happy hour, you're like, cool, where we going?
Let's do it. That's a great, I think rekindle was actually a good word.
Okay.
I really do. I feel like, and I will just speak for myself. I think when I became a mom, every other relationship took a hit to some degree.
I agree with that.
I don't know how to say that well, but that was just me. Like I said, my life kind of revolved around kids.
I 1,000% agree with that.
Yeah. So with my husband, I think that our relationship is probably, we no longer sit down and have family dinner every evening. We now kind of watch whatever we're binging, but we enjoy it. We make our meals together. We eat what we want. It doesn't revolve around what the kids want. And I am enjoying and it's not that I wasn't enjoying my marriage when I had kids. It just wasn't my primary focus. I mean, it should have been. You do a whole nother episode on that, okay?
That's a good one.
Yeah. But now I do. I think we're really rekindling that relationship. We go out whenever we feel like it. And same thing with my friends. I think that I probably neglected some of my friends more than I should have because I was always busy. And so now maybe I do have a little bit more time to meet up with friends that I wasn't really doing before. And that's good for me.
Yeah, no, I totally, and especially just different. I think about different friendships. It's easy to meet with the friends that got kids, your same age, right? And so you're but your meetings also comprise of let's meet and we're talking at the soccer game.
Exactly.
The last year, or at the volleyball game or at the cross country meet.
Right.
But I feel like my friends that have either children at different stages, whether they're in college or even the opposite, they're really young and my children aren't doing those type of activities. Or before my son went to high school, they were like high school. Like they were different than my different ages. I feel like I didn't hang out as much. Or my friends who don't have kids, like we talk on the phone, but they're like, "Hey, girl, let's go have drinks." I'm like, girl, let me open up the calendar. Literally tomorrow I'm having dinner with some of my NBA friends and we had to put this on the calendar because two of us, one girl's an empty nester, the other two of us still got kids. This was planned a month ago because we had a day that we could go that didn't have a kid activity. So I think that does make, a big deal just to be able to know that, there is a life after your kids are gone that you can start working on you and those relationships that you haven't fostered as well as you should.
Yeah.
And you can do it without the mom guilt.
That's right. And we act like we just discovering these things when it was really just what we were doing before we had kids. It's just kind of how to do it.
Like,
I was a person. I did
right.
Right. Passport stamps. It didn't require, You know what I mean?
And I'll tell you, the most shocked is your kids. I mean, my kids are so shocked that we are like functioning. I think my daughter's a little bit offended.
Your life didn't stop when she left.
That we're so functional without her. Yeah.
That's right.
I could see, my daughter, they're 3 years apart in school. So my daughter's very happy when my son goes to college because she's going to have us entirely for 3 years. I can see her being like, now I'm gone. So y'all going to crumble? Yeah. The other day, they had left me at home, and it was about a couple of months ago, and they went with my husband to a track meet. So I was like, they left went Friday night. They didn't come back till Saturday night. And she was like, Mommy, how are you going to survive? Are you going to be okay? Because we're going to be gone for a whole night and a whole day. I said, girl, I will do my best to survive. I was like, in my head, I was like, girl, I got 36 hours.
Right? Like, what else can I do with that 36 hours?
What else can I do? You know what I mean? Exactly. So,
I mean, and that's true because I kind of experienced that in spurts now, being divorced. When my children go to spend a weekend or months in the summer with their father, and just adapting to like, oh,
yeah,
I have this time and this space. How am I going to spend it? And, for the last several years, I have made that time, like I've started creating goals and things I want to get accomplished and things I want to do for me while they are away. And so just being intentional with how to fill that time. And so like, oh, this is a time where I can dedicate to things I've been waiting to do.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing, as you look to fill the time and adjust to a quieter household and adjust to a change in routine, we can be intentional about placing things in that time that we've been waiting to do. Like you travel everywhere. Who knows where I'm gonna find you? Kim, you going where this weekend?
Exactly.
I'm going where next month?
Exactly. Because traveling without kids is so much cheaper.
You gotta buy two, and it gotta be people because we travel with kids. You gotta be like, okay, we all gotta sit together. Like, not that you want to sit with your husband, but if you want to take a red eye and it's only one seat at the front, one seat at the back,
I will see
you. I see you when I get off the plane, right? Like, you're not like, okay,
yeah,
are they gonna be okay? They want them sitting by a stranger,
right?
And also, you mentioned too that you took up some hobbies and things that you probably have been wanting to do.
Yeah, like I really love what Tiffany, the word that you use with goals. I feel like it's such a great time in life to set personal goals and to really be intentional. So you have this extra time. So what are we going to do with it? I'm putting this out. So I'm training for my first marathon.
Yes.
Where's your first marathon going to be?
Savannah in November, Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's a heck of a schedule. It's running several days per week, long runs on Saturdays. I've never had interest in doing a marathon. I don't know how I ended up here, but here I am. I'm embracing it, and I couldn't have done this before. Well, I shouldn't say. I know people run who have kids, but for me, with my personal schedule before, I can do this now.
That's nice.
So it's just a personal goal. And like Tiffany said, I definitely travel more. I don't know if, what other hobbies I'll pick up along the way, but I'll pick up whatever hobbies are interesting. I'm on my way this weekend to go visit my daughter. She lives in Seattle. I'm in South Carolina. So we're East Coast, West Coast. So I'll spend time trying to travel and see her. But it'll be, on my terms, I will find ways to fill my time that hopefully are productive. That's right now.
So that was another season that you just had to navigate too, because you navigated sending them both off to college, and now you recently transitioned into like your daughter is now
She's a college graduate.
Like a real, like she has her first job, cross country. And that was an adjustment too. So this is not something that ends. Like, okay, they're out the house. Mm-hmm. There are seasons throughout that we have to adjust to.
And they are always your kids.
Yeah.
I don't care how far away they are,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure still your babies.
Yep, that is true. They're always, no matter how tall they get. And I'm pretty sure you also probably thought that, okay, she's graduating from college. A lot of parents assume kids are going to come home, right? Oh, they're going to come home. And so how, you have to deal with that adjustment too of how do you navigate that one too? Now that she's away, okay, man, now she's going to be in Seattle. Like there may not be time she'll ever come and live right here with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Around the corner.
I mean, I'm sure that's different for every family. In my case, I'm so happy for where she is. She's in such a good, I cried less when she moved to Seattle than for any of our other transitions. Maybe I'm all cried out. I don't know. But at this point, I'm just so proud of where she is. I'm proud of the adult that she's become.
Yeah.
And so I was able to let go.
And I guess also if we think about it, as we look at this transition, we do all this because that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yes.
Independent children. Like we do all these things. We take them all these practices. We do all these things for school. We do all these things for what? To have that's the ultimate thing. You have an independent adult, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to worry about, they can survive and take care of themselves. So
right.
Probably, maybe, I don't know, some of what is a little relieving because you're not independent, right? Like you're like, still in my pocket. Regardless of how you look at this, like
that's right,
but not to the degree of like when you graduate and get a job. So,
that part is really great. I'm like, you need to get health insurance. You need to get off my cell phone plan.
What is your health insurance plan?
Right.
Your cell phone, your car note, your car insurance.
Yeah.
Man, you're an adult for real.
That's right. Yes, exactly. They're gonna learn.
Yeah, exactly. So that probably, I'm assuming that's probably why you cried a little less. Because it's all your children have accomplished all the things you wanted them to. And so it's, I think, nice to see that. I know even for us, we have freshmen in high school this year. Oh, Lord. And it is definitely, an experience, but I will tell people to, I would think, basically enjoy every minute of it.
Exactly.
Every minute, like today, I was at the hospital and one of the residents was like, "Oh, how's it going? You're a freshman." I was like, you know what? It could be trying. There's times that, my child, I'm like, okay, you are a teenager and you don't want to talk one day. And I said, you know what? I'm looking at everything and enjoying it because I know in 4 years, as much as I am taking him to cross country practice early in the morning, picking him up at late, doing this, I'm going to miss it in 4 years when he's not here. So even the days he may not want to talk or the days your child may not want to talk, just remember to enjoy the moment.
You'll be able to appreciate this. My son's last soccer game, like the one that we knew, that was it, the last one. We all sat in the stands and cried for like half an hour. Me, my husband, my son, because this has been your life. This has been what you've done for so. And so if I could go back tomorrow and do it all, I would do it all again. I really would. I really enjoyed it. So you just have to appreciate where you are in every stage.
Yeah, that's so encouraging. So now, though, at this season, how are you staying connected to them? Because they're not right there with you every day. How are you working to maintain connection, and how has it changed? With them.
I think that's a good question because right now with technology, it's not an issue of can we stay connected. It's do we stay. I don't want to say overly connected, but to be honest, when we left home, our parents couldn't track our every location. And I think a lot of parents now, we're kind of guilty of that. Like, where's my kid at this moment? And so maybe learning like I'm not tracking her location as much as I used to. I'm trying to
Life 360.
Yeah, back off on that. But I try to set up the Sunday, like she knows that we'll call on Sundays, but honestly, Tiffany, I can't usually wait that long. I call whenever.
I'm be impressed, Kim.
When you feel like it.
Yes. Whenever I think something's funny, they don't have to find it funny. I don't care. I'm going to sit.
I'm with you.
You're right.
That's great. That's right. That's
so
right.
I talk to them several times per week. Some of it may just be by text. Some of it'll be by phone. My daughter calls me more now because now she's navigating the big world and she needs me more,
Right. You became smart, Dr. Kim.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I love it now.
I love it. Love it. I love it. Good. All right.
All right.
I love it. So those are some good, that's just great perspective.
Yes.
On how we can view our current season and look forward with hope in the transition, not dread.
Oh, no.
But just truly embrace it and be excited about this season as we are, about what it's going to transition to. So
get those trips planned, y'all.
That's right.
That's it. That's it.
That bucket list.
Yes, definitely.
Now, we recognize, though, that some people really will have a really hard time with this transition and really struggle with the sense of loss. And so in those instances, like what have you, in talking with other people, encountered folks that didn't transition or haven't transitioned as easily and really struggle with it? What would you say to somebody who's really struggling with the transition?
I mean, I think we have to recognize that because every situation is different. I'm blessed to have, a good support group for myself between my husband, my friends, so I don't have to experience significant loneliness. One, and this is, maybe a little bit of a segue. One, as far as the letting the kids go part, one of my friends, when my kids were little, gave me the best piece of advice. She said, if you put everything you can into them, you've done all you can do, then you won't regret it when you reach the time when they leave your house. And I really like that advice. And I really try to live by that. So like you were saying, I did try to make every game and I did try to make it to every event. So I wouldn't look back with regret and say, these are the things I wish I had done. I did the best I could. We all make mistakes. I mean, we're not going to be perfect moms.
Oh, yes.
But I did the best I could. And so, hopefully we don't have regrets when we get to the end of this season. But I know that there are people who will have loneliness, and I just pray that they can, let's say, find your own self-worth. What are the same things we try to instill in our kids? We try to teach our kids how to go out into the world, and our parents did that for us, and now it's our job to do that for ourselves. But that's how I recognize it can be hard for some people. I think that like anything else with time, you adjust to the transition. It's a new phase of life. We've adjusted to every phase up until this point, and we'll adjust to this one.
Yes.
But but if you are having like a difficult time, I mean, it's okay to talk to somebody about it too, and to definitely seek out whether it's just a counselor or actually even call a friend that's already going through it and has gone through it.
Advice.
I think that is where, to me, you could start because they can kind of help you.
That's great advice.
Over that dinner.
I remember calling friends and saying, "Hey, your kid's in college. Did they call you?"
Yes.
and other friends would call me and say, "Have you heard from your kid in the last 2 weeks?"
Yeah.
Other parents have been through it.
That's definitely, and I agree. The making no regrets is a big thing. I mean, people are always like, "Hey, how do you become a doctor?" But then you're the one cooking cupcakes for the class. Well, or I actually am the one doing the craft. Let me stop lying. Not doing the cupcakes. I know I'm the one doing the craft for the class. But how do you do all that? And I think I had that somebody told me the same thing. Just make sure you do it all and you don't, regret or miss something so that you won't, have those regrets later. Do the
Right. And
the best you can.
Exactly. And God's grace covers the rest.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, thank you again so much.
Yes.
I love you, love you, love you. I'm thankful for you. And thank you for being willing to come on here and share with us how to successfully transition.
Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you.
We're going to think of some other reason to bring you back on here.
Okay.
No. Maybe you had to prepare for that, that extra hobby of a marathon or something.
Tiffany, if I make it through this,
you got it.
No, I will call you to the finish line.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Healthy Her After 40.
Yes. So please tell your friends, anybody over 40, please tell your friends to join the channel. Don't remember to subscribe, and we will see y'all later.
Bye for now.